Good morning. I always forget where the camera is. There it is. Okay. Good morning. I am recording from the basement. It's Sunday, and I'd like to point out that I am wearing a white shirt. I've noticed in all the videos so far that I was wearing a green shirt. So, anyway, I wanted to talk about something that I had heard someone else call the war in your head, which may be what I call this video, because it's such a good word. It's such a good term, concept. Now, I've not heard the person explain to me how they define it, so I'm only taking the term and using it for what I think it means. You know, talking about somewhat of an inner struggle that we have seemingly every day, that, by no means do non-transgender people have problems. We all have problems. And I might make another video. I had a lot of videos. I had like 5 videos that were like the videos I had to do. It felt like I had to do, but I did, made them with this voice, and then I hated it. I felt like I was faking it, and the jury's still out on that. That's why I need to get out in public and people, and I'm working on that. I'm working on it. It takes time. It takes time. Opportunity. Time and opportunity. Sometimes if you feel like you can't do things, in reality, the only thing out there is air and opportunity. You just have to have that time to do it. But this video is going to be about the war in your head, the daily struggle, things that you, let me take you out of it, me, things that I do that probably you may have done as well. It can be things like growing up, the J.C. Penney catalog would come, or later, the Woman Within catalog would come, and I'd want to look through it for clothes. But it's a sense of guilt or shame that, I can't look at that. I'll tell you a real story from my life. Back, I'm going to say it wasn't in the 80s, it was in the early 90s, maybe in late 80s. We went shopping together. My grandparents used to come down and visit for Christmas. I lived in Florida. I guess I must have been maybe first year of college, whatnot. But it was my grandmother, my sister, my mom, and myself went to Target. And one of the things that happened on that trip was they all got pulled into the makeup area and started talking about lipstick. And, which shade they like, had you tried this? Do you like that? And I wanted to participate. I wanted to participate in the conversation. Not that I was wearing lipstick at the time, but it was one of those things that I wanted to. And how do I say that? And of course, at the time, I was going to hide it. But, without them knowing it, I was excluded. I mean, I was excluded anyway, but it was one of those things. It was an inner turmoil. And my guess is if they knew about it, they probably would have included me, or it would have seemed odd. But, it's one of those things. It's a silent war. It's a silent struggle that's in your head. And it made me feel bad. It made me feel, I felt guilty for having the thoughts at the time. I felt shame because I had to hide it. And, those are the things those are the unseen struggles that we have. Talk about things that go on every day. And so I'm thankful for the support group. I mean, obviously, the internet and talking to people and whatnot, I know I'm not alone. But at the time you think you are, especially when you're young. And for a generation of people before the internet who didn't necessarily communicate, you think you're a freak, you think you're an aberration of nature, when in reality you just have some natural feelings, and we don't know why we feel this way. It's just the way that we feel. So to a certain degree, how that affects me now is I have a daughter who my hope is soon, if not one day, soon, will come to know me as I get to know myself in a more feminine way, more womanly way. And I won't have to hide, and I won't have to, those conversations. Now granted, I will not force my daughter to do anything with me if she doesn't want to. But I know a hell of a lot about eyeshadow and how to put mascara on and everything that I'm not supposed to know, but I do know. So, I hate the fact that I'm hiding from her, especially after a long period of my life where I was hiding. I would have my box, and, my box grew from a box to a box to a box. Can't see, big box. Tubs of clothes and whatnot that I had to hide. And, I'm not hiding anymore, but I am hiding. I'm not hiding. It's a different kind of hiding. It's in consideration of someone else. I am not displaying. But, you don't want to lie, And this is kind of an agreement I've come with my wife, which I think is appropriate for right now. There's going to come a time when it won't be. Specifically when I'm on hormones. And, I'm not going to wear a binder. So there's going to come a time when, I don't know. But it's, it's not a heckle and jive. It's not a heckle and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Not a Jekyll and Hyde thing. And it's not a dichotomy. Maybe it is a dichotomy. But, two personalities. And maybe that'll come out in time too. I don't know. My wife has said initially that there's a difference between my personality presenting as female and the way she remembered me as male, because obviously I wasn't hiding from my wife. And there's a part of you, there's a part of you that wonders that. Are there things that, am I going to be a different person? Are my hobbies going to be different? Again, I don't know. I don't have that cred. I don't have that credibility. There's a point that I have never crossed. Before when I was on Premarin, and I'd live as a female as much as I could, leading up to going full time. I've not crossed that threshold. I don't have that. The only information I have is through communication with other transgender folks who've done that. And, something that